In the middle of a global pandemic, Poland has called for elections, and that election will take place on the 10th of May. So I think the EU is not very happy with that, because I saw a message from Donald Tusk, and to speak about what is going on in Poland, I'm speaking to NataliaWitczyc. Thank you very much for your time, Natalia. What is going on in Poland?
What is going on in Poland? That's a question I ask myself, to be honest. The government, the current government in Poland, has decided to run head of state elections, presidential elections, on 10th of May. The elections are very rushed and very, very disorganized because, first of all, this is a global risk for people in Poland, and Poland claims that the pandemic is under control, but I'm not sure about that because we already know that none of the countries has got the real data. So it's very hard to say where we are and where will we be posterior. So it's very risky to run elections now. But also there is this systematic exclusion of Polish who live outside of Poland at the moment, like myself, living in Spain, because we are obliged to vote personally in the embassies and in the consulates, while we live in places with huge restrictions and pandemic risks, and we shouldn't be moving anywhere, especially not accumulating ourselves in public buildings during one day and personally vote. So we feel like the Poles who live in Spain, in Italy, in the UK, in Germany, in places where this pandemic is taking place, we feel like we're systematically excluded from the vote because we cannot physically appear to vote on that day.
Yeah. The Brussels has said that the virus cannot kill democracy. Do you think the EU should have acted sooner? Because for some time Poland has been so with what we consider in the EU normal democracy.
There's been many situations when Poland has been on the edge of the law and trying to push some rules. So I think there was no clear option to say this law has been broken, but it has been stretched too many times. And it's really hard to say if Brussels should have acted before, how they should have acted, because it feels like it's always a little bit late. So it feels like they're just never acting on time, and it just keeps, Polish government keeps stretching those laws. And also I'm at some point disappointed with the European Union in this sense. But then looking at the same situation, I'm also not surprised because we've seen it happen before for many years now. So I guess it's also the situation we're living now, the pandemic. There's no precedence there. So it's also hard to understand which country should act in which way, but definitely what's happening is not right.
And you are organizing an online protest. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so as soon as Polish people on social media started to understand that the elections are supposed to take place on 10th of May, we started started heated discussions about this. Very surprised, very angered that we will not be able to participate, even though we have the constitutional law to participate in elections, living in other places in the world than Poland. Also quite disappointed that Polish government is risking the health of the citizens in this way, foolish way. So we organized a non-political movement, just angry people who probably never participated in politics before, decided this is the time to combine the forces, and obviously just online because we are not allowed to demonstrate outside, and that's not what we want to do anyway. So we decided to gather all the anger we have in ourselves and put it into action. So we decided to literally through social media put the pressure and make our voice heard, to make sure that we are not pushed away from this political discussion.
In Scotland, I'm very interested in that because I think there is a huge Polish community, a very active community, actually.
Yes, big community in Scotland. Also, the participation in the elections of those Poles who register and then who live outside of Poland is also very high in most of the countries in Europe, and Scotland is one of them as well. Also, it's very interesting to say because the Scottish government, now I don't remember who the person in charge was, but was the first one to comment that they will not permit Poles moving around to get to the voting places, which are the embassies. So the Scotland was the first official place to say, we don't want this to happen on our territory. Doesn't matter what Poland wants. We will not allow people to freely move. So that's also a very interesting case because there's this very, very strong clash between the two.
How can people contact you?
So the protest is run mostly on Twitter and on Facebook. We try to gather people as much as we can within the hashtags we use. The hashtags are in Polish because we are addressing mostly the Polish community. So it's Polonia nie ma wyboru, which I don't expect anyone to write, but I hope maybe we can add it in the comments of the interview. And yeah, we try to be as visible as we can given the circumstances. So we make sure Polish government has us in our mind when taking those decisions and can see we can combine our forces and be heard.
Natalia, we'll keep an eye on what is going on in Poland. We'll keep an eye on your campaign because it's very interesting in the middle of this huge and global pandemic to celebrate elections anywhere is a madness. It's just crazy. In fact, in Galicia and the Basque Country here in Spain, we cancelled our local elections because it's common sense. So, and it looks like the way that the government of Poland wants to celebrate these elections is very, very suspicious. So we'll keep an eye on that. I wish you all the best, and please, people at home watching this video, share this video, contact this community, help as much as you can, okay? Thank you very much for your time, NataliaWitczyc. We'll be in touch, okay? All the best.